So in my last video I talked to you all about my journey through fitness and stuff, and at the end I explained that I developed an eating disorder, and I also explained that I was going to do a video specific to that and the kind of ways that you can combat that and notice it before it gets worse and all those things. So that is this video today. So eating disorders are very, very common in teenagers, but we don't notice them until they've started to really damage our bodies, and that is the point where it changes your body. So say if we use anorexia as an example, you will not notice the anorexia developing until it's when you reach that point when you are like really skinny and people start to notice actually they look kind of unhealthy, unwell. You should kind of do something about it, and that is the point when people notice it. By that point it gets really hard to come back from. And if you keep seeing this, it's my notes. I write things down because I am not very clever. I started to get really bad anxiety. I started to get really like minor depression, and I started to get really bad OCD. If things weren't tidy and clean, then it would really stress me out. And all this information is things, again, like I said, that I have experienced and things that I've researched that other people get as well. So these are the kind of things you need to look out for when you think maybe there might be a slight problem. So this next one isn't really about me, but it's something that I found online which I think can be quite an obvious sign actually. So when I looked it up, it said from the ages of 15 up until 18, especially in males, this is where your sexual desire really starts to build up for other people. And if you have the start or maybe are in the middle of an eating disorder, you will notice that go away, which sounds silly, but it can be really unhealthy for you. Now this is one I really noticed. Well, I noticed it, but I didn't think it was really a problem. So there's a difference between calorie counting and macro counting in general, just to try and be healthy, and then there's an obsessive level. Like, here's the normal level, this is the level I was at with being obsessive. So if I went over, I would binge because I felt bad, and I would binge so much that all that healthy eating I'd done throughout the day didn't even matter because I'd binge at night, and the calories and the numbers just was so important to me, and it used to stress me out and panic me, and it ruined my life in the sense of I didn't want to go out for meals, I didn't want to go out and have maybe a drink or like have a drink in the house, because alcohol has is like a very dense fluid and it holds loads of calories for what it is. So that in itself stressed me out, and you get stress, as I said, and anxiety and depression as signs before all that anyway. So that added stress onto the pre-existing stress was just a big no. So that's one thing you have to watch for. Getting extreme cravings. You're depriving your body when you're counting all these nutrients. You are depriving your body of what it wants. So half the time you eat because you just feel like, before you go into fitness and things like this, and you just eat chocolate, you don't really care. And when you start looking at calories and macros on things, you notice how bad they are for you. So you cut them out of your life completely. And this can be a big problem because after a while, these cravings will build up and you just won't have them. And that time that you crack, even just a little bit, that is when you binge. That is when you put all of your weight back on. And then it turns into a whole other disorder. It'll turn into maybe binging or some sort of bulimia or something. Another one that I kind of experienced quite a lot, and it might be too much information for you, girls' menstrual cycles become very irregular. You can be like it can happen 1 month and then it won't happen for like 4 or 5 months, which is really, really unhealthy for your body, like more so than you think. Just because you don't see what's happening from the outside, well, you kind of do if it happens, but like you don't see what actually happens. You don't see that wearing away of the lining, that, and if it doesn't wear away, you can't be prepared for anything. Like say if you want a child in the future, it might lower your chances because you're not prepared for that stage in your life because of what you've done earlier on in life. And another like really, really major one, which I thought had nothing to do with the fact that I was under eating and depriving myself from food, but insomnia. Insomnia is basically when you can't sleep very easily or find it very difficult to get to sleep or stay asleep throughout the night. And I think this was for like a few reasons. Being tired and under eating will make me very, very, very tired. And I'm doing a sports course at college, so I'm doing sport all day. I'll go to the gym at night and train, come home, I won't have eaten anymore. I think when I was at my worst, I was eating just about 1,200 calories, which is so low, it's like dangerous. For a growing child, well, I'm not a child, well, I kind of am, but you know, for a growing human, let's say, doing sport every single day and then doing additional sport afterwards, that is really, really unhealthy. You feel very bloated as well if you undereat. You feel like there's a big lead weight in your stomach. And I'll put the picture there of when I was at my worst and I was so bloated every single day. Little did I know that I am in fact lactose intolerant, which means I am intolerant to lactose, which speaks for itself, really. So that was kind of a reason why I was bloating so much. And also, I'm sorry that this video is so long, but I just want to get everything out there, so bear with me. And the last one is, well, it's obviously not the last one. There was loads more other side effects of undereating or eating disorders in general, but the last one I'm going to share with you is all your feelings are affected by food. So what I'm saying is, if you eat something, you feel super, super happy. It's almost like a sugar rush, but not with sugar, it's with food. So you will eat like, let's say a piece of chicken, some potatoes or some rice maybe, and you'll feel on top of the world. And then within the next, I don't know, like next couple of hours, you'll feel like shit again until you eat something else, which shouldn't be the case at all. The food that you eat should be able to last you throughout between around 2 hours, because it takes 2 hours for food to digest in your system. So that's how long it should make you feel, not feel full, but make you feel active and being able to do things and all that. So anyway, if you want to check out any more side effects or anything, I'll throw the link in the description for the website I use to get some of this information, and you can just double check it if you want to learn more, or if you aren't going to take my word for it. I hope you do, because I've obviously looked this up and I've experienced it. So if you know anyone with these symptoms, or it sounds like something you do, or anyone that you know does, there's a few things that you can do to tackle it, or a few things that you can suggest to him or her to do about it, because obviously we don't want to keep this going on because it can be very dangerous, and we want to sort it out immediately or as soon as the problem arises. So you can follow the Harris-Benedict equation. So the first thing that you have to do with that is you calculate your calories that you need just to allow your bodily functions to happen. So like for your organs to function, for your heart and your brain to work at their optimal level. And maybe during workouts you want your muscles to work great. I'm sorry if the lighting keeps changing, by the way. The sun keeps going in and out. You know, we're in England, it does not stay consistent ever. Anyway, then what you have to do is multiply your BMR, which is your something like that, metabolic rate, and you take that from what you've worked out before and you multiply it by your activity level. So if you're maybe a very sedentary person, for a man you might multiply those BMR calories, you might multiply that by maybe 1.4, and if you're a woman, 1.3. I'll link the page. It's on Wikipedia, but I know it's real because I've done it and it works. I can tell you that it's worked. I have actually lost, well, not lost weight, but I look like I've lost fat, and I looked just tightened together and really great. And if the Harris-Benedict equation didn't work for you, or it's not enough, well, it obviously will work if you put all the effort in and stay consistent with it. But if that's not enough for you and it's not enough to push you to move past this disorder, and you feel like it's more of a psychological problem, like every time you look in the mirror you think, oh yeah, I look fat and I cannot push past that, I cannot eat more because I'm going to get bigger, go and speak to maybe a nutritionist or a psychologist or something along those lines, just so they can explain to you what's going to happen. Remember, they are trained professionals. They know more than anybody else will about what the best thing to do is. Someone at my college actually told me about the Harris-Benedict equation because I went to him because he's a qualified personal trainer, nutritionist and all that. That's why he's teaching us. He was the one that introduced me to that, and I was a bit like, well, if I eat more, aren't I going to get bigger? And yes, I can get bigger if I train my muscles to get bigger. Like if I go to the gym and if I train to the level that I know I can train at, then my muscles will get bigger, which is what we want. What we don't want is to feel more bloated, to feel more depressed, more anxiety. We don't want that, and that is why you have to listen and take the advice of other people because they know best. And if you go to like most gyms, maybe not like small businesses, but if you go to most commercial gyms, like chain gyms, like maybe David Lloyd or Fitness First. I think Fitness First is one, or like a 24-hour type gym when there's like loads of trainers, loads of professionals, and they maybe have like a cafe for food and stuff. They generally have nutritionists on hand there that you can probably speak to. So, my calories before I started getting better were at about 1,800. So they were a little bit better than what they were before, but they weren't great. The calories I should be eating, I don't really know what to call them, the calories that I should be eating to function are 1,400. So eating 400 extra calories isn't going to do it for me, especially when I'm doing activity all day, like I'm a very active person. So I was doing maybe like 5 hours of exercise every day, and 1,800 calories isn't enough. That's ridiculous. And I have a 20-minute walk there and back to college from the station anyway. So my calories now, after using that equation that I've just told you about, are 2,448 calories. And this only happens on a Monday, Thursday and Friday because they are the only days I'm in college. I'm very lucky because I don't have to go in every day. But then Tuesday and Wednesday, I am at home. Like today. Today is Tuesday. I am not in college. Anyway, on those 2 days that I am off, my calories drop to 2,000 just because I don't want to put on any excess weight, especially because I'm not doing as much activity. So I just lower them a tiny little bit, but not so it's like ridiculously low that I'm starting to do all this under eating again, just so it's enough for me to function throughout the day. That's basically all that we're doing with calories. We're just using them as fuel for the day, and if I'm doing less activity, I need less fuel. So right now, my percentages are here. It's 50% of that is carbs, 25% is fat, and 25% is protein, which is how I decided that I wanted it. You can change it for whatever your goals are. Maybe if you want to build more muscle, you might go 30 protein, 20 fat, 50 carb. I don't know. You can do what you want. But anyway, I hope you learned something from this. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because there's going to be a lot more. I know these have been very informative videos, but I want to try and do a lot more maybe examples of like staple workouts or staple movements, or maybe like testing my compound lifts or something. Just something a bit more entertaining rather than informational. So comment below if there's anything in particular you want to see from me or from this channel in general, and I'll make sure it happens within reason. It's like jump off a building, I'm not going to go and do that, am I? But this video is now 20 minutes long. Well, it's not, but the one I've recorded is 20 minutes long. So I better edit this and stop talking. Yeah, goodbye.